Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. We have a nice little Lilith run last time. No, come on, you couldn't have just given me one more katunk? Let me be Cain. Here's your seed. Look, I put the seed on the screen for a single second. Nay, for a single frame. You know why? Just to demonstrate that I can. Is an any percent Isaac speedrun. If you can't capture a single frame, you can leave. As far as okay, that doesn't really make any sense. Please stay. Monster Manuel, right off the bat, is well, it's a waste of everybody's time, is what it is. But ooh, hey, easy there. 10-4, good buddy. With the shots and the aggression and the so on and the so forth. I refuse to believe this is a shop. I believe this is an arcade. We're gonna get an incredible book. We're gonna get Bookworm, and we're gonna dominate. Okay. None of those ended up being true, which is just absolutely fascinating. Very, very rarely do you leave a library and go, wow, that was not worth the key that I spent. Okay, never mind. I'm just being a baby. We did get closer to Bookworm. That's fine. Dude, when was the last time you went to a library? For me, it was either 2014 or 2015. I remember because, you know, we were not living... Yeah, we were dead at the time. No, we were not living in our current domicile. I think it was 2014. And I remember, it's a shame, you know, because there's a lot of, you know, Vancouver Public Library branches, you know, in the city, obviously. But when I was there, I was like, dude, the library is so cool. Free books. Why am I buying books? Why don't I just get books for free and stop being a dummy? And then, you know, I brought the books back to the library, and then I didn't get any more books, and then I never went back. I don't really have any, there's no, no moral of the story is what I mean to say. The moral of the story is, the library's pretty cool, dude. Air-conditioned, check. Pokestop, likely. What's not to like? Let me in. It's kind of weird how, like... I mean, libraries, I think, are extremely well-liked. Not that many people out there on planet Earth, I think, or let's say North America, something I'm more familiar with, are anti-library. Like, we gotta defund the libraries. You don't hear that too often. At least I don't hear that too often. I think we're good to go. And yet they're so, like little trafficked, at least over here. And I'm part of the problem, I do want to admit, you know? I guess people just, like, don't read that much anymore, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I went through, like, a bit of a reading spree in the winter time. It's, you know, I get it. You got limited time for hobbies, you know? The thing is reading good for you? Yeah. But there's a lot of things you could do that are good for you. You know, it's like, I've lost avid reading, and instead, I've replaced it with, like, going to the gym. Which one's better for you? I'm not comfortable saying, you know? Could you have time for both? I don't know. Honestly, possibly. But it would be, you start to get a little, your leisure time would start to become very structured, I suppose. I mean, you definitely have time for both. I mean, people, like, do both and also, like, raise a family and have a full-time job. I'm just saying it's a lot of time investment. I get it. Why spend 45 hours reading a book when you could just watch a 2-hour-long movie instead? That's how I experienced the entirety of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid franchise. That's a joke. I've never read any of the Diary of... Or I've never consumed any piece of media related to Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Trying to think of, like, the last... I mean, okay, let me rephrase. I was gonna say the last children's movie I watched in theaters. But that's not fair, because I see a children's movie at least, like, once or twice a year. Disney stuff, Pixar stuff, Marvel stuff. No, shut up. Those are timeless stories. It's like the Game of Thrones bit from Parks and Rec. They're telling real stories in a fantasy world. They're telling universal stories using kids as the drivers, you know? Which they should not be doing until they're 16 and they have their license, or at least their learner's permit, but I digress. Like the last actively bad kids movie I saw in theaters. And you know what I mean by that. There's movies that are made for kids but are enjoyable for all ages. Most Pixar stuff, I think, falls under this umbrella. And then there's movies that are like, this is for kids only. I know this sounds bad, but I'm kind of like, you know, the Angry Birds movie. Or the movie where James Marsden lives with the Easter Bunny. Hop. Like, you know, there's stuff like that. Anything Adam Sandler has made since Punch Drunk Love, etc., etc. I honestly can't remember. I'll tell you, though, it's before, like, the year 2002. Which makes sense, because I would have been, like, 13 or 14. What do we got first? Yo, enormously useful. Followed by, you know, still very, very useful. And I know that because my relatives were visiting from out of town, and they had young kids, and they're like, hey, we're going to see Spy Kids 3. Or maybe it was Spy Kids 2, now that I think. I can't remember specifically. It was the same year that Freaky Friday came out, so do a little cross-referencing there, and you can figure it out. They were like, do you want to come see Spy Kids with us? And I was like, oh, absolutely not. So it must have been at some point, maybe in like the year 2000. You know what? I'm not messing with you at all. It actually might have been the first Pokemon movie that made it to North America. You know, they go to the island, and then there's Mewtwo, and it turns Ash into stone, and Pikachu's tears resurrect him or whatever. You know, it's been a long time. That might have been the last movie that I was like, hey, like, Mom. I think I went and saw it with my grandma, actually. But I was like, hey, Grandma, you're not going to have a fun time at this movie at all. But I'm a kid. I'm calling the shots, okay? You want to come see this Pokemon movie with me? It's the price you pay, you know? You ever wonder why adults, they're so fascinated with, like, the facilities of a place? It's because they're trained from having kids, you know? You go to the movie theater with your kids and you're going to see, like, oh, the little hedgehog saves the day, you know? And it has, like, nothing for you if you're over the age of, like, 8 or 9 years old. Not all kids' movies are like that. I'm just saying. You know, then you learn to appreciate, oh, the seats are really comfortable. Hey, the water pressure on the sinks in the bathroom is really nice. Wow, the sound system is really good here. You know, the floors are mighty clean here. Oh, the air conditioning's nice. You know, that's why, I think that's where adults get trained to think like that. And you're like, Mom, we're at a restaurant. Why are you so concerned about, you know, the handle on the bathroom door? It's because they would spend 10 years taking me to see a bunch of garbage. Didn't really entertain them at all. They had to get in the habit of finding something to comment about on an adult level. Or maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. That's always a possibility, however remote. Anyway, sorry. For a minute there, I lost myself in the Isaac mix. Where we're at. Where are we at? It's a good run. You can rely on your fire raid, Maggie. You can rely on your fire raid, Maggie. Tough choice, actually. Either way, I mean, we don't need much on this run. More HP, bizarrely enough, would actually be good, but everything's hunky-dory. Fire rate actually would be the nicest thing, maybe, to get. Because 9 rate of fire is a little bit below where we'd like to be, but, I mean, still obviously, like, pretty great. When you pair it with our damage stat, especially. But if you look at the right side of the screen, I mean, you can see the items we've gotten. And you can see why I'm not upset in the least. Wow, that was terrible damage. About the quality of what we got going on right here. Pretty much every item over there is a slapper. Anemic, okay, not really. We definitely want to go into our deal with the devil, or yeah, deal with the devil first here. Really just want more HP. This is such a nasty room, dude. It's like a scene from Old Boy. There we go. Oh, thank God. It's like it could be health down, it could be health up, but I really hope is not health down. Forgot what I was talking about. Just a bunch of nonsense about being at the movie theater. I don't have much else apart from that. You know, it's been, and I've said this, I feel like a broken record here, but every week I say it again and again and again. I'm living a pretty anecdote-free life, you know? I go to the gym. I record the videos. I do the streams. I get 8 hours, well, sometimes 7.5 hours of sleep a night. I've taken off the diving bell, where for whatever reason you end up being exposed to insanity every single time you leave the house, and I'm living this normal life that feels a little stranger to me. But I'll tell you, I know we're headed to Anecdote City. PAX is coming up a couple weeks from now. Like, I don't know, it's 3 weeks from now, I guess? I don't know, I haven't really paid attention. I gotta tell you, I used to travel to events all the time. Like in 2013, 2014, I think I traveled to events probably like once every 2 months. And, oh, that was not so good. Sometimes it was for stuff like I was really interested in, and sometimes it was because the travel opportunity was really nice. So I thought, you know, let's do it. And then also, what's funny about that is I ended up discovering like a lot of stuff that otherwise I wouldn't have discovered. So it ended up working, like, from a marketing standpoint. Like, I had never played a single Paradox game when I got invited to go to ParadoxCon 2013 in Reykjavik. And I went. I'm just gonna level with you. There were two main reasons I went. One of them is like, yo, this is like a form of legitimacy in this industry. Somebody's taking me seriously for the first time ever. And the other one is like, is Iceland, dude. When else would I get the opportunity as you know, a small town, good old Toronto boy, to go to freaking Iceland? And then I went, and I was like, wait a minute, people are making video games like this? And it was like the perfect gateway drug into starting to play Paradox games. The first Paradox game I ever played was March of the Eagles. You know, a game about, I think, the Napoleonic Wars. Very, like, not disrespected, but not the most fondly remembered Paradox grand strategy game. But it was a nice little, like, miniature way of getting in, a little bit of getting your feet wet, I suppose. Ended up after that, you know, hey, if you like this, you gotta check out Crusader Kings 2. So I check out Crusader Kings 2. I was like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing. 25 hours later, I'm like, oh my god, this is the greatest game ever made. EU4 comes out like, I don't know, probably like 18 months after that, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like CK2, but I don't have to worry about the fact that, oh, maybe my spy master has infertility, but is also a horn dog, causing incredible angry moods at all times. You know, I was like, this is amazing. Of course, we did the multiplayer stuff as well with that. So it ended up being like really, that was like it was a win-win story. I hope it was a win for them. Anyway, it was a huge win for me. And I've always operated under the assumption that we both won in that transaction, but you know, I didn't foot as much of the bill, so you know, who knows? Either way, I've stopped traveling for media events just because, like, got a really, like, not in a bad way, I want to be clear, but I got a slightly more nihilistic attitude to video games now. You know, back in, you know, 5 years ago, this is a little jaded, by the way. It might not resonate, but it is the honest truth for me. Back in 2013, 2014, it was like, hey, want to get on a real airplane and play this game 6 weeks before the public gets a chance to? And I'm like, oh my god, yes. Don't you want to hear what the game is? We'll figure that out later. That's secondary. I get to go to I get to feel like a real businessman flying around. I'm traveling for work. Airports, am I right, fellow businessmen? Anyway. Nowadays, you know, sometimes, and this is not an insult at all, PR, marketing, blah, 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 or the developers for that matter, but I'll get an invite that's really nice. It's like, hey, you want to come to, you know, sunny California and, you know, get a chance to preview this anticipated game? And I'm like, not really. Like, I'll just send me it when it's out, you know? It's not like if you play one video game, you played them all, but it's more just like, you know, I don't really want to, like, fly, stay overnight in a hotel, miss a bunch of streaming and video creating just to say that I played, you know, X game 3 months before the general public for half an hour in a controlled environment, you know? I like being at home. I'm much more of a homebody now. I like to travel, you know, like for vacation, but I don't like to travel for work that much anymore. It's almost like a deal breaker. Obviously, like this is kind of a crappy thing for me to say because it invites speculation. But like I've had offers to go travel to preview games that I know 100% I would be interested in, but have simultaneously just been like, you know, I'll just play it when it's. I'm not out of solidarity with the common man or anything like that, but I'll play it when it's out. You know. I don't disbelieve its greatness, but I don't need to be there in advance. I got other things going on. I'm sure you invite someone else that'll, you know, that'll give you the same quality of discourse. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. I'm fine. Also, almost all video game travel takes you to the Bay Area. And I want to be very clear. I love the Bay Area. But I've been there, like, I don't know, 12 times in the last 5 years or something like that. And it's not that I dislike it. It's quite the opposite. Like, I always think that San Francisco is kind of like, is like Vancouver, but plus history. It's not to say Vancouver doesn't have history, but it's like, you know, Vancouver plus like, plus character, like, is a little bit more, less of the edges are rounded off in San Francisco, if you get what I mean. You know, in Vancouver, we're like, this is a cool bar. It opened a year and a half ago. In San Francisco, they're like, this is an old tavern from the Prohibition days. There's a hidden wall in the, if you press a button, the secret passage opens that takes you to where the rum runners. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Your city's very cool. Congratulations. But like, you know, how many times can you? Why not? How many times can you go to San Francisco over the course of, you know, a half decade? A lot, but like there is, maybe it comes a point where there's too many. I think I will just pop this. Yeah, that's actually a pretty great get, I think, and we'll get the heck out of your hair here. This is very first world problems. Oh, people invite me to, well, people want to pay for my flights so I can go play their video game down in California. I'm not saying it like that. I'm just, you know, I'd rather be here recording stuff for you. I mean, for me as well, because this is, like, my job. But, like, you know, for you as well. My talents are best served. Get the opportunity to be myself in this strange podcast-like environment instead of, like, kind of feeling like I'm supposed to be, like, a weird hype man for a game that I haven't really, like, played that much yet. It's a little uncomfortable for me. I just like to be... I like to be at home. That's what I'm realizing. What's weird is that, like, 2014, I traveled a lot when I was at home, never left the house. Rarely left the house. Now, it's 2019, I leave my house every day, like, 100%. Sometimes multiple times a day, oftentimes multiple times a day. Just go for a nice little walk in the neighborhood. Say hello to people. I don't travel that much anymore. So this is all looping back to the fact that, like, I don't know, like 2015, we went to PAX, like, we went to PAX East, We went to E3. We went to PAX West. We went to England, preview some games. There's a lot. This year, like, I think it might have been the year we went to Tokyo for Tokyo Game Show as well. That's more like a Kate thing, but I came along. Just a little tag along. Hold on. Love it. Love it again, I think, and keep loving it. I think that's Perthrow. I can't remember, though. And they're all Joker cards? Oh, that's unfortunate. And it was like, it's cool, don't get me wrong. But I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore, you know? I don't think we can make Boss Rush even if we tried. This year, like, PAX West is the only travel that I'm doing for games at all. And it's not even really travel. It's just it's a 3-hour drive to Seattle. There's probably, like, 1 or 2 people watching this that have a commute that's that long. In which case, oh my god, like... I hope you're listening to some audiobooks or something. That's a lot of time to spend in your car 5 days a week. But I get it, because a lot of people here commute for, you know, a staggering amount of time because they work in the city. But, you know, it's obviously extremely expensive to live in the city. Either way, this is neither here nor there. And to be honest with you, I love PAX and have maintained that I like PAX a lot. I love Seattle. You're getting a theme here when it comes to cities that I enjoy. Typically, they're on the West Coast. Not always, but, you know, we got a cultural similarity for sure. I don't have to be like, oh my god, I wonder if they have cold brew there. I don't think we need Yum Hard anymore. And I've always maintained, like, you know, even if I don't go to anything else for the year, I'll go to PAX. But this year, I was kind of like, you know, I applied for media. And I got it, but I was like, you know, if somehow I slip through the cracks on this media thing, I don't really care. I would be totally fine staying at home. I'm stoked to go, don't get me wrong, but I'm also like, I'm kind of over that convention life, man. Mathis isn't, and this is, I mean, we bristled, you know? We had a little friction with one another. Mathis goes to, like, every convention under the sun. He loves it. And I don't begrudge that, you know? I think there are convention people and then there's, like, non-convention people. I'm starting to realize I thought I was a convention person. I don't think I'm a convention person at all. Now, suffice it to say, there's a few reasons I still go to PAX. One is it's a nice little, like, pseudo-vacation related to my job. Another one is you do get to check out some cool games and, you know... A lot of the games we play on the NLSS... At one point, we're like, hey, you know, we played this at PAX, and then it's really cool. Ultimate Chicken Horse, for example. I think was a... And Enter the Gungeon, actually. Like, the Enter the Gungeon, I played it at PAX. Probably, it was like a year and a bit before it came out, maybe. And I was like, yo, you guys have something really, really good here. That was when everybody that played it, that was probably like PAX East 2013 or something. Maybe 2015, I can't remember. Maybe it was 2015. But it was like, yo, this is... Doesn't happen that often you play something and you're like, this is special. But I was like, that game is special. Where was I going with this? Anyway. Playing the games, you know, shaking hands. It's people, they always talk, at least in the streaming side of things, they always talk about like networking. I don't know, maybe it's valuable when I'm sleeping on it. It's always, it strikes me as like, I've never seen any networking. Maybe it happens, but people are always like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I'm like, nah, dude. In streaming, that's not the case. It's not who you know, it's when did you start. Did you start in 2013? You probably got a little bit of a leg up on the competition. Maybe that's... I don't want to say that's dismissive, because, like, you know, I have... Probably networking with me has given some people in our circle some visibility on Twitch. that they may not have otherwise had, but they may have. And also, by, you know, it's kind of like, it's like the locks on the Rideau Canal, you know? Like, I've been blessed to have an audience, and then when I stream with people that I'm friends with, they might get a little bit of extra attention. I'm not saying I'm like a career maker, but like they might get a little extra attention as a result of that. And then their own stream starts to grow, and then they start to get viewers who have no idea who I am, and then I stream with them, and I steal them. Not really. Unless they're really into Isaac or maybe GeoGuessr. But, you know, I guess to that extent networking does help, but I don't know. I think it's just I have an innate skepticism. I always assume that everybody that talks to me in public, depending on the way they introduce themselves, I always assume that they're like a salesman. So if I was at like a... It's one of the reasons I kind of don't like going to Twitch-related events or YouTube-related events. I went to one once, and dude, they're extremely well organized. I want to be clear. And I think it's cool that there's like an environment where, you know, people that work or are, you know, at least stream in the same business, because not everybody that's at them is full-time, obviously, but like I went to one once, and there's like a lot of people asking me, like, so how many followers do you have? And I was like, I don't know, like 200,000 or something like that. And they were like, whoa, that's a lot. And I was like, what are we doing here? I don't understand. I mean, like, really, what am I doing here? I guess what did I expect? But like, what are you doing here? What are any of us doing here? Is this what this is about? Is an exchange follower count meeting? Or is everybody just getting hammered? Or like, I sort of don't get it. Now I'm like, hey, 6 people I know that are at this event. You guys want to get together in a secluded place and play Captain Sonar? Preferably bring 1 extra person each, because it's an 8-person game. That's more where I'm at now. It's a lightning rod for getting people together that, you know, from all avenues of the country, you know? I'm not gonna say I didn't have a fun time at TwitchCon. I had a fun time at TwitchCon for sure. And I always preface, or I always put this in here, because like some of the people watching this will probably be at PAX. If you see me at PAX and you want to say hello, please say hello. I have RBF, resting bad mood face, but I'm like actually very rarely in a bad mood. I would love to say hello, take a photo, you know, shoot the breeze for 45 seconds or so. There's no risk. I'm not gonna be like, actually, I'm a little busy. I don't even make appointments anymore for that reason. You know, the first couple of PAXs I went to, hey, Northernlion, big fan, seen all your videos, love you, dude. Hey, you know, I really appreciate that. Sorry, I'd love to stay in chat and, you know, say thanks for your appreciation, get to know a little bit about you, but I gotta go check out the new Dead Island game. I'm a very important person. Nowadays, I just kind of go and mosey onto the show floor, and I'm just there to, like, you know, maybe check out some stuff. But otherwise, just kind of like hang out. If you see me, say hello. It's tough, though. I get this a lot. People are like, hey, I said hi to like 7 bald guys with glasses yesterday, and none of them were you. I feel you, but I will not go to the convention wearing my own shirt so that you know for certain that it's me, because that's a real weird, like, vibe I'm putting out there. I don't want to be that guy. Dude, I will do it. Because we get a pretty nice damage bonus, and if we got it for free, we wouldn't have gotten the damage bonus. So it's a tricky spot, but I'm confident. Anyway, suffice to say, if you're at PAX, say hello. And maybe one day I'll go to Gamescom, okay? It's just, here's the problem. Gamescom and PAX, they take place like a week apart, maybe less. You know, I'm pretty close to redlining when it comes to video content at all times. So to take like 10 days off just to spend more time around video games, that's a big time investment for me personally. But I would love to. I've been to Europe a few times. I have never stepped foot on mainland Europe, which is it's unusual. I think most people, you know, from North America, when they go to Europe, they go to, you know, Venice or Florence or Rome or Paris, Germany, you know, maybe Croatia. I mean, they go everywhere. Amsterdam is another big one. But, I mean, it depends, actually, because I've been to Sweden. But is Sweden mainland Europe? It's got that, like, the Danish peninsula sort of thing going on. No Demon Hearts? I don't know if it counts, is all I'm trying to say. I've been to England, and I've been to Iceland. Is Sweden mainland Europe? Continental Europe, okay. It excludes Sweden, Norway, and Finland, but includes Denmark. Throw another European distinction on the list. Nordic, Baltic, Scandinavian, and now mainland Europe as well. Gotta know them all for GeoGuessr. And I've stepped foot inside the Frankfurt airport once, but that was not really, you know, I don't think it counts. I brushed my teeth in the airport bathroom in Copenhagen. I don't think that counts either. But the airport did seem very nice, I will say. Please, I just like the run is set. Damage-wise, especially after picking up quad shot, while also having a pretty nice tears bonus thanks to Dark Prince's Crown. It's good stuff. I have the most modest nervousness you could ever imagine. It's not a lot. But I think there is a chance we could get pulled under, you know? We want more HP, but not red hearts. That's the tricky part of this. But our stats are so good. We should be fine. We should be fine. Oh. Oh. Yo, this is solid. Tech point 5, Juicy Sack, Deadeye. The thing with Coupon is it's not going to do anything. So even if we don't use Glowing Hourglass, we're still stoked to at least have something with some usefulness, I suppose. But yeah, like, now we've reached the point at which it's just a really bad look to complain. Because being over 10 damage, you know, things could go wrong if your HP is low enough. Being able to find a way over 20 damage, I mean, come on. It's like being, like, extremely wealthy and owning an expensive car, but complaining about the car payments. Although, I guess if you're extremely wealthy, this metaphor probably doesn't wash, because I'm pretty sure if you're very wealthy, you don't really set up, like, a payment plan on a Lamborghini. Maybe I'm wrong. Anybody here work at, like, an exotic car dealership? I would think that my hunch, and this is based on basically just bias, but my hunch is that you would get two types of clientele. One type of clientele is like, hey, I have the money to afford this car, and I'll pay you in cash, more or less. Cash, check, you know, direct deposit, whatever. And then you get people that want to appear wealthier than they are, and they're like, what's the minimum amount I could get on a lease? Still probably extremely expensive. Hey, anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. We managed to make it work with bells on. I'll see you next time.